Sir Jeremy Wright.
Mr. Speaker, it's now very clear that the Crown Prosecution Service asked the government more than once, over more than a year, for some additional evidence on what the CPS considered to be the crucial question of whether or not China constituted a national security threat during the relevant period. It seems to me, having read those statements, that there are two important questions, at least, that arise. The first is the one that's just been asked to him by his honourable friend. Given it was clear by that point, when the Deputy National Security Advisor made his second and third statements, that the question he was being asked to comment on was whether or not that bar of being a national security threat was met or not, what is the possible relevance of the inclusion of information about China as an economic opportunity? Surely the Minister can see, and the government can see, that that only weakens the substance of the question that that particular witness was being asked to answer. And it would be useful to understand whether the DNSA came to that view on his own, or whether it was suggested to him that that would be a useful thing to include. The second question, I think, is this. The government's been very clear, the Minister's been very clear today, the Prime Minister was very clear yesterday, how disappointed the government is at the outcome of this trial, and how much the government wanted this prosecution to proceed. Given the length of time and the number of requests received by the CPS, surely it would be logical to assume the government would be straining every sinew to find extra evidence to meet the CPS's requirement. Whether it thought the CPS was right to ask for it or not, it was clear that with that extra evidence, the CPS would proceed with the case as the government says it wanted. What evidence can the government provide to us that every sinew was strained and that the government did everything it could do to find that evidence? And if that evidence is in fact available and others could find it, won't the government have some explaining to do?
Thank you. Can I thank him for the question and the tone of it. On the first point about on the same question of. Can you just remind me? I'm so sorry. Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, the first question is about why the Deputy National Security Advisor included in his statement reference to economic opportunity when he knew that wasn't the question he was being asked or the relevant question.
So sorry, and thank you for that. The point I was going to make is on that is that is to provide broader context of the position of the government at the time in relation to its position on China, but it is an independent decision. It is a decision taken freely without interference from ministers or advisors for the DSNA to do that. I can't. That's not my position to account for. That's his decision, and that was the evidence submitted under consecutive governments on that. So that's all I can add to that, I'm afraid.
Very good.